Tonight's story isn't about tanks or bombers. It's about a single body drifting in the sea. Because in 1943, the Allies tried to fool an entire enemy war machine with a dead man and a briefcase. This was Operation Mincemeat. By early 1943, the Allies needed to invade Europe's southern edge. The obvious next target was Sicily, and that was the danger. If the enemy guessed Sicily, the island could be turned into a fortress and the invasion could become a disaster. So Allied planners decided to mislead enemy intelligence with something more convincing than rumor. They would plant secret invasion plans on a dead officer and let the enemy discover them, believing they had stolen genuine documents. For it to work, nothing could look staged. The body had to appear real. The papers had to feel authentic. The story had to survive skeptical inspections by experts trained to spot deception. The planners built a fictional officer with a believable life, personal letters, small everyday items, and details that made him feel human. Then came the hardest part. They needed a suitable body, someone whose death could be explained as drowning and whose identity could be shaped into the character they had created. The body was preserved and dressed as the officer. A briefcase was secured to his wrist. Inside were carefully crafted documents suggesting the real invasion targets were Greece and Sardinia, plausible choices meant to pull defenses away from Sicily. Next, they needed the right location. They chose Spain, a neutral country where German intelligence had strong networks and where found documents could quietly reach the right hands. In late April 1943, a submarine carried the body close to the Spanish coast. In the darkness, the team lowered the body into the water and watched it drift away, knowing the mission now depended on strangers doing exactly what they hoped. Soon the body was found. Authorities became involved, and German intelligence moved quickly. Now everything balanced on a knife's edge. If the papers were handled in a way that exposed tampering, suspicion could rise. If medical inspection contradicted the drowning story, the deception could collapse. So the planners waited, watching for signs, shifts in deployments, changes in patterns, and hints in enemy reactions. When the briefcase and documents were returned, the evidence suggested they had been examined. The bait had been taken. The only question was whether the enemy believed it. The answer appeared in the movements of war. Reinforcements shifted toward the wrong regions, defenses were adjusted, and attention moved away from Sicily just enough to matter. In July 1943, the Allies invaded Sicily in Operation Husky. The fighting was still hard, but the deception had done something priceless. It redirected expectations, thinned certainty, and forced the enemy to prepare for attacks that would never come. Operation Mincemeat did not win the war alone, but it proved a disturbing truth. Sometimes the most powerful weapon is not a bomb. It is a story, built so carefully that the enemy repeats it, plans around it, and moves armies because of it. And at the center of that story was one silent figure drifting toward shore with a briefcase carrying a lie meant to save real lives.